Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Avid Peruser. So this week I'm going to be discussing my favorite fiction series, probably of all time. It is the Kricket Hallowell series, or just the Kricket series. It's by Amy A. Bartol. It consists of 3 books. The Kricket series follows the main character, Kricket Hallowell. She's 17 at the beginning of the series, and it's like 2 months before her 18th birthday. She lives in Chicago. So Kricket's pretty much a runaway, and so she has to keep under the radar. Her description of how Kricket looks makes it almost impossible to stay under the radar. She's about 5'11". She has super long, like platinum blonde hair and violet eyes. That's natural. So for her to have that combination and wanting to stand out or to blend in and not be seen is definitely probably difficult, especially in Chicago. Chicago doesn't scream a place with a lot of blonde, tall supermodel types, you know? So pretty much the first book, she is introduced to these 2 groups of people, Trey and his buddies, and Kyan and his buddies, Forrester and Lecto, and Trey and Jackson Wayra. So she somehow manages to get away from Kyan in the basement of the bar, and she escapes, and she's running, and she ends up hiding out in a coffee bar. Then she sees one of the people part of Trey's group walk into the cafe, and so she runs out the back and immediately runs into Trey. She's captured. Book 1 is all about finding Kricket and assimilating her. So once she's at the palace, she's learning about the culture, she's learning their ways and their languages. At the same time, Kyan, who we find out is a representative of her mother's nation, and Trey is a representative of her father's nation, and she is this kind of impossibility that's not supposed to exist. So book 1 is her being introduced to the world, and during this time, while she's at the palace, she is pulled between both tribes. Oh, she's a priestess. Priestess have powers, and each of one of them have about 2 different powers. So Kricket's power is the capability to detect lies. She can tell when someone's lying or being truthful, not being truthful to her. And she also can, she has the gift of premonition. So she can see in the future, jump in sometimes a few minutes or sometimes days, hours. She gets images of what's about to happen or what could possibly happen. 2 really awesome gifts. And then the war begins, people fighting over her. Alameda, Rafe, and then the palace, and then just everyone's fighting over her because of her powers and what she could possibly do. So, book 2, after the chaos that happened at the palace, it's her being set on trial and being picked up and hiding from Kyan. So Kyan ends up breaking out of the prison and coming to look for her. He's like, she's promised to me. I'm a brother, I'm part of the brotherhood, and every brotherhood partner has a priestess, and she's the priestess I've been promised, and I want her. So he's killing everybody in his way in order to get to her. So in this world, their defense department is like on a destroyer in the air. So they call it Sky. So Sky is all their military defense that's inside Rafe. And so Trey and Kricket are kind of falling for each other at this point. And so he's like, you're mine. I intend to make you my consort, which is your wife in this world. And you're going to live with me, and you're going to come to Sky, and you're going to work with the military. We're going to help, defeat the Alameda. So in Sea of Stars, she ends up being imprisoned and tortured by Sky's military because the person who was originally in charge was murdered overnight, and so she never got to speak to him, and so Trey never got to plead her case, and she's treated as like a spy for the Alameda. So she's kidnapped, so she's arrested, and then she's tortured, and then surprise, Kyan shows up to take her back. and he kills a lot of people to do so. And then Trey's coming and taking her from Kyan, and it's just like this tug of war back and forth. And then she finally escapes Kyan one more time, jumps on their motor scooter devices that fly and such, and escapes the ship of Sky as it's exploding. So on their journey of hiding out and trying to get out of the city, her and Trey pretty much consummate their soon-to-be consort. So, they get it on. It's kind of hot. And then they kind of have like an engagement ceremony with her and the soldier. So that's really awesome. There's this great prophecy that the book kind of is built around, that a priestess from two houses, which is Alameda and Rafe in this scenario, will bring apart the destruction will bring apart the destruction of one house of Ethar. So one house will fall, and this priestess will somehow kill the current ruler of another house and will come to rule all of Ethar. So what people have known thus far is that her father and mother, her mother being from Alameda, her father being from Rafe, escaped to Earth and had her. They don't know she has a younger sister. And so she is the girl from the prophecy. And then there's other stories that, her mother would give her gifts to her most powerful daughter, right? So Kricket also falls into this scenario that she has the gift of premonition, which is the same gift that her mom had. She also can determine lies, which is our truth saying. That's exactly the thing that her mom had, which she finds out from Kyan later on. But, this story points that this is Kricket, so her father was told that of all the scenarios that her mom came up with, they all pointed to that if Kricket came to Ethar, this war would happen. But as long as she's on Earth, the war wouldn't happen. So by the Rafe and the Alameda people going to go get her from Earth, they essentially started this war. They started the downfall of their own people by bringing her to Ethar. So, by the end of book 2, the third party, which Griffin is a part of what she calls the Lost Boys. So it's the male counterpart of the priestesses. So Alameda has been doing genetic modification on their people, and they have been giving them gifts, some people can, talk to animals, but they're all been female. So if there's a male born from a priestess, because it's known that every female born from the priestess is going to have some kind of gift. If there's a male born from the priestess, they're usually killed. But the babies that are saved, that have powers, are part of this Lost Boy Society, which Kricket's father decided to collect all the male babies from Alameda who were born from priestesses, and has essentially made himself a mutant army, right? So, and that mutant army has been told their whole life that Astrid is the future ruler, so they need to protect her, they do everything for Astrid, and that Kricket is just a commodity that needs to be taken care of, or a distraction, so that they can focus on building up their forces. So by the end of book 3, Kricket has to be used as a trade for her sister. Like, Griffin makes video contact and was like, hey, Kyan, you want Kricket, I have her, but you have like my consort. So here's the trade. You get Kricket, I get my consort back, and everything's gravy. So she gets used as a pawn to be traded for her own sister. So that starts book 3, is Kyan has finally got Kricket. There's so much about their story and their connection that she plays off, and she's like, I wonder if I met him first, would I have just gone with him, she's starting to fall for him as well, which is now her way of surviving him, because Griffin has said, you're pretty much going to be a mole for us. You're going to keep us up to date with what's going on with the Brotherhood and Kyan, and you have to come up with a plan to kill Excelsior. Excelsior is Kyan's father, who's in charge of the Brotherhood, and who is trying to kill everybody and wanting to be the extreme ruler of all of Ethar. So in this period in which he takes her to the Loch of Cerulean, which is what they call the Sea of Stars, and that's what book 2 was called, the Sea of Stars, is because it ends in the Sea of Stars. So book 3 being called Darken the Stars is the point where Kricket, her eyes are fully open, and she's now part of this strategic game to kill Excelsior and to save herself. Because even though her and Cayenne eventually do become intimate, and she's like, he becomes her lover, and but he teaches her everything that no one else has. They always consider her weak, but he sees her as a partner, as someone who together they can rule. So he's like, you can reign with me, you know, together we are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Like, no one can hold a bar, you know, no one is on our level. He's super smart. He creates all these things in technology. He's really good, really smart, and strong, and he's fearless. And then she's also very ingenious, and you know, she comes up with these plans and ways to kind of not get her way, but to work the system. She's really good at working the system. So they start to fall. I mean, she starts to also fall for him, and she does come up with a plan to kill his father. And she then is like, this whole time though, she has met another priestess named Flix, and Flix is like, I'm gonna go with you and go back to Earth. And she like already can tell that Kricket's not about to stay here and be used as a pawn anymore. So she devises a secondary plan that after she kills Excelsior, her and Flix, who has ability to be a shadow, so she can go invisible, and their plan is to hightail it back to the Forest of O and to make it back to Earth. So she somehow, her and Flix, they go through this portal, they end up making it back to Earth, and that's the end. Or is it? Right? So she tries, but so the interesting thing about Kricket is she definitely tries to give everybody something they want. She realizes that Trey isn't good for her because he is military first. So there's parts in this book where Trey and her dad talk, and he's just like, you know, it's my fault she's here, and my fault my people are dying. So like almost that he shouldn't be able to love, like if she dies, it's okay because he started it. If he dies, it's okay because he brought upon this chaos to his people. So he's very just like self-loathing and just like, well, I'm a military man, and you know, I didn't follow, my orders weren't right, and I got to stick to the plan, and I need to save my family. So he pretty much sacrifices Kricket to save his family. And Cayenne, he's always hated his father, so she gives him revenge. The revenge is being that I killed your father, so you don't have to worry about him. You know, you don't have to be under his threat anymore. And for her sister and the rest of the Lost Boys, she's like, I'm just giving you the crown. You can rule this country or this world. I don't want to be here, you know? So at the end of the series, she writes this letter to her sister, and she's like, hey, everyone, you know, I enjoyed my time on Ethar. I learned some stuff. I might have fell in love twice, you know. I have a lover, I have friends, I had a consort, but I'm going back home. Home to her is Earth. And she's like, as long as you don't follow me, we gravy. You don't have to worry about me. You know, like, but the second you do, she's like, I'm going to come for you. You come for me, I'm going to come for you. Because this whole time they were worried that, oh, if Kricket knew the real plan, then she would like destroy everybody. Kricket don't care. She's just trying to find her own peace and happiness in this world. She never wanted to rule. She was trying to just make it through college or apply to colleges and make a decent life for herself, right? So the Kricket series by Amy A. Bartol and narrated by Kate Rudd is a phenomenal Devourer series. So definitely rank it 5, 10, rank it 1,000,000. So like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next week.